Good morning, everyone. I am pretty much done with my tomato redo project for this growing season, so I want to show you what I've done and just to talk about again why I did it. So at the beginning of the growing season, I grew a bunch of tomatoes from seed from Baker Creek. A lot of them were heirloom type tomatoes or fancy type tomatoes, and I put them in 5-gallon grow bags. I've done this before and haven't had much success. Don't know why I did it again, but I did. So instead, this time what I did, or now that we're in the middle of the growing season and the tomatoes don't look like they're exactly flourishing, I took those grow bags from here in the cutting garden. I put them up on my deck, and so we'll just see how they do up there for the rest of the season. No worries if nothing else happens. But what I did do is I went out to Lowe's and I purchased tomatoes from Lowe's that I'm hoping are plants that are going to do well in the hot, steamy humidity of Northern Virginia, and I planted them in the ground. I don't know why I haven't planted those in the ground before. I think because of my clay soil and not thinking that it was good enough for the tomatoes, but I have been putting wood chips down in this raised bed garden for quite some time, and that's been incorporating into the soil. And so I went ahead and just planted those tomatoes in the ground, backfilling with leaf grow compost that I can get here locally, and gave the plants some tomato tone. I gave the indeterminate tomatoes an 8-foot bamboo stake that I will tie it up as it grows with 1 liter, and then the determinate tomatoes I put in tomato cages. And then after the indeterminate tomatoes, I put a new cucumber that I'm hoping does well in this area, and then after the 3 determinate tomatoes, I did the same. So that would have been the straight 8 and the heirloom burpless cucumbers, what I added into the ground here in the cutting garden. The other thing, I made sure and mulched everything really good, including the path, and so it's pretty much ready. I did forget that I had purchased 1 additional indeterminate tomato, and I just found it this morning in some plants that I have on my driveway. So I'm going to try and find a spot for that tomato, maybe here, just plop it in the cutting garden somewhere with the flowers. So let me take you over to the tomatoes and show you what it looks like. Right here we have the 3 indeterminate tomatoes, and then a cucumber, and then 3 determinate tomatoes, and then a cucumber on the end. I think this is a beefsteak, a better boy, early girl, and that is a hybrid burpless cucumber. And then for the determinate tomatoes, I have, let's see, Celebrity, and this one is Rutgers, I believe. No, Heatmaster. And then that 3rd one is Rutgers. And then finally, the last cucumber, which is a straight 8. Okay, so there's one other thing that I want to get done today. I bought a zucchini squash at the Lowe's when I bought those tomatoes, and I don't really like zucchini. I've tried to like it, and it just seems so mushy to me. Jacques in the garden, he has recommended a couple different zucchini squashes that I think I'm going to try. But for right now, I did buy one, and I put it in a 10-gallon grow bag, and I'm going to put some bamboo stakes into like a tripod for the squash to grow up, and I'm going to put it on my deck. And the reason why I'm doing this squash is what I want to do is make zucchini cakes to store in the freezer. Unless you all have really good zucchini recipes, and I don't like the squishy kind, let me know in the comments. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to do 1 plant of zucchini, and hopefully just to freeze for zucchini cakes or zucchini bread. Now, I've said a couple times that I didn't think that I liked the silver slicer and the salt and pepper. I have learned now that that is untrue. I do like them, and I made them in a little cucumber salad yesterday with salt and vinegar and water and a little bit of stevia, and they were really, really good. So I'm going to continue growing them. However, here is my zucchini squash. It just says, let's see, heirloom, black beauty. This is going to go up on the deck, and I'll show you what I do with the tripod situation here. And okay guys, so it's a lot later in the day, but I did want to show you and kind of tie up the end of this video with what I ended up doing with the squash. And I actually did the same thing with a Boston pickling cucumber. So here we have the Black Beauty squash, and it is in a 10-gallon grow bag, and I put 4 8-foot bamboo canes. I don't know, it's just an experiment, never done this before, and so I'm hoping to grow this squash up those canes. I wrap the canes with this jute twine all the way up, so hopefully I can keep this squash nice and tidy. We'll see. It's just an experiment, and I'll keep you updated on how it goes. And then I did the same thing here with this Boston pickling cucumber. Hey guys, so anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, talking about my tomato redo project and also the squash that I'm growing this season. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next time.